3, 2, 1. Hey friends, Janky here, and welcome back to the lab. Today I have a great game for you, so let's move right on into Phase 1 and let me tell you about it. Today we are playing Renown Explorers, More to Explore, a critically acclaimed game by Total Biscuit, The Cynical Brit, by Abbey Games. This is actually an older game. It was released 2 years ago under the title Renown Explorers. However, they have released DLC since, particularly More to Explore, and they are currently working on another DLC expansion known as The Emperor's Challenge. I found them over on one of my specialty websites that I find all the games for Janky's Lab and things on. So, I contacted them. I was like, yo, I would love to play your game, do a little coverage for a thing that I do on my channel. And they're like, sure, have some keys for some expansions and things. And I'm like, aw, thank you. So, I'm excited to get started. Let's move right on into Phase 2, tutorializing. Okay, fade on in here. So, this first part is all about selecting the crew. So the first thing you have to do in this game is figure out what crew you want to take along with you. It's a roguelike action game, so it's all about who you choose. I already kind of looked at the characters and decided who I wanted from the different things. First of all, I kind of picked out someone that kind of looks super balanced. Not super balanced, but like a kind of balanced team. I picked Harry Walker, who's a street urchin glass cannon, because that's fun and his color is green. Ivan Dashkov, who's totally a brawler with amazing attack, and Anna Parkrinakova. I said that super duper wrong, but she is balanced all around and a scientist. I think this makes for a pretty awesome team, so I'm going to go ahead and start my adventure with them. Look at him go! Oh my god, best team ever. Adventure and excitement await. Welcome to Renown Explorers. Your goal is to achieve the most renown possible and beat your rivals in a race for the title of Most Renowned Explorer. Renown Explorers uses unique concepts to succeed in your goal. There are lots of strategies and systems you'll have to discover and master. While playing, remember one thing. Renown Explorers is all about discovering treasures and stories, but also strategies and systems. This game has many new concepts and is quite challenging. Learn about the concepts here, or learn as you play. Okay, let's learn about them here then. Your goal is to gain as much renown as possible. You can gain renown by finding treasures and collecting gold, status, and research. Sweet. You especially want to beat the current number one, Matthew Ravelux. Of course his name is Ravelo. Ravelu. During an expedition, you can collect resources, gold, which can be spent on equipment, status, which attracts an entourage, research, which can be spent on research, and insight, which you can use to gain many other resources. Sweet! You won't get resources directly, though. Through expeditions, you will perform actions that will give you tokens. At the end of the expedition, tokens will be exchanged for the resources mentioned before. For example, a study will give you research. Later, you can upgrade your tokens for better yields. The expedition ends once you accomplish an expedition goal. You can surely find some secrets and other treasures if you try to explore as much as possible. The hardest part of Renown Explorers is surviving the perils during the expedition. Resolve. You'll lose the game if it reaches 0 supplies, which are used to travel from node to node. Never run out of resolve. If this happens, your crew gives up on exploring and you lose the game. You'll lose resolve from failing some challenges or having a crew member fall during an encounter. You gain resolve for completing an expedition, but otherwise it's really hard to gain resolve. Great. You need supplies to explore. Traveling on expeditions consumes supplies. If you run out of them, your crew will weaken. Still, sometimes it might be worth the risk to go a little further without supplies. That's up to you. You'll often get the chance to regain supplies, so keep your eyes open. A brief summary for all successful expeditions. Get as much renown as possible. Collect gold, stats, and research to be spent later. Don't run out of resolve and supplies. What about encounters? Encounters in Renown Explorers is very different from what you might be used to seeing in a tactical game. You will be able to solve encounters not only through aggressive violence, but also through devious bullying and friendly diplomacy. Oh, I'm going to be all about aggression and deviousness. Yeah. Encounter basics. In this tutorial, you'll learn about basic controls and how to win an encounter. Let's do it. Let's do it. Here's the stuff. Here's the tutorial stuff I need. Follow the tutorial instructions. Resolve by being friendly. Resolve by being devious. Resolve by being aggressive. Your first encounter. Select different participants by clicking on them with the left mouse button. Scientist. Select your crew mountain. Yep. Alright, now move your crew toward the opponents. You can move active crew members by pressing the right mount button over walkable tiles. There we go. While holding the right mouse button to choose where to move, you can click the left mouse button to cancel the movement. Now move the rest of your crew. Yeah, we're all in it now. For now, you've exhausted all your possible moves, and your turn by hitting the unturn button. Their turn. Wow, unnecessarily aggressive toward me. Ooh, now you made me mad. Now move your crew closer to the volunteers. Once you move crew members close enough to an opponent, you can use abilities to defeat your opponents. Whenever you're prepared to use an ability, you can preview its effects here, an overview of the information provided. Percent chance the ability will hit or miss, a preview of a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay. Okay. So, let's use an ability. I can attack. I can attack. Okay. To be fair, you guys pitchforked me. And pitchforking me means we're going to be hostile. You just dealt damage to your opponent's spirit through a physical attack, but don't worry. During regular play, you can also overcome unfortunate dispositions through means other than just violence. But for now, defeat these enemies by assaulting their spirit. Yo. How about you attack that dude? Boom. I love the animations. They're so funny. Alright, dude. I'm gonna need you to walk over here. I'm gonna need you to straight up punch that dude. Yeah. Punch to the face, and you're to blame, 'cause you hit me with the pitchfork first. Can't be a copyright strike if I don't follow the tune. An encounter in Renown Explorers is very different. Oh, okay. Attitudes. If you know how to use your abilities to win an encounter, next step is to look at attitude. As mentioned before, there's just more than one way to do an encounter. Okay. Let's look at them. Alright, so we have the option to be friendly, devious, or aggressive. Apparently I'll be a dummy at aggressive. I'll be okay at being devious, but I'll be amazing at being friendly. There's also... Okay, this is also where diplomacy and bullying take place. Your crew can resolve it using 3 different attitudes. Resolving an encounter with a different attitude affects the course of the game and your rewards. The outcome UI at the top left shows you what the consequences are for having a dominant attitude in an encounter. In the top left corner. If your opponent is friendly, you can exploit his weakness by being aggressive. If your opponent is devious, you can be the better man or woman by being friendly. If your opponent is aggressive, you can make him crazy by being devious. Great. Solid. By resolving an encounter with this as your dominant attitude, you will gain the following rewards. You currently have 0 points toward the attitude. Okay. As you've seen, you want to avoid finishing this encounter with an aggressive attitude. Bad consequences will be marked with a red skull. Oh, that's what the amazing... Okay. To solve an encounter with certain attitudes, crew members have different abilities. Okay, yeah, I noticed that. Hover over the ability bar. Okay. Devious. Impress. Alright. Okay. I get it. I get it. Attacking makes you aggressive. Terrifying makes you devious, etc. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Damage the opponent's spirit with an ability and take note of how this affects the UI in the top left. Okay. So come over here. Impress. Remarkable. If you look at the outcome UI, you see the bar corresponding to your attitude is filled up. Every ability you do influences the outcome. For example, aggressive abilities counter heavier than others, and defeating an important boss with a certain attitude counts even heavier. The rest is for you to find out. It depends on your crew. You can see how good they are at different things. Friendly and devious abilities get stronger with high speech. Aggressive gets stronger with high attack. Aside from your crew, your opponent also has strengths and weaknesses, armor and speech defense, all that good stuff. Okay. So they have armor, but they have no speech defense. And they have terrible, terrible grit. Okay. They have pretty high attack, pretty good speech. So his armor is okay. But his mood is taking it down, I guess. Doesn't have any speech defense. Pretty good speech power. Pretty good speech power. He has, like, amazing speech power and terrible defense. Okay. Come on over here. Oh, sorry. Take some time to... Okay, yeah, I already did that. Thanks. If you looked at the opponent armored volunteer, you may have noticed that they have high armor. But you can be friendly, and that's okay. Yo. I'll try to excite you. Yo. Flip that hair. Alright. Try to excite. Pleasant. Yay. The armored volunteer is excited and join your cause. You are friendly, which means you're amazing. Thanks, friends. Okay. Moods and emotions and all that. It's basically a rock, paper, scissors game, but we'll do the tutorial for it anyway. Okay. So our options are... you finish the tutorial, you diplomat. You finish the tutorial, you Machiavellian. You finish the tutorial, you conqueror. Okay. So, if both you and the opponent are friendly, the mood is pleasant. Okay. The combination of your attitude and the opponent's attitude is called the mood. This is very important. If the attitude changes, the mood changes as well. The same goes for your opponent's attitude. Okay. You start off an encounter with an uncertain attitude, which has no moods. Let's use a devious ability to change and the attitude and see how it affects the mood. Okay. Use devious ability to change it to a devious mood. Okay. Devious. Taunt and ruffled. Taunted and ruffled. Okay. You changed your attitude to devious. Combined with your opponent's devious attitude, the mood has become tense. You're both hurling insults and threatening each other. With this, you learn that changing attitudes also changes the mood, since moods are the combination of attitudes. You can inspect the current mood in the mood UI at the top bar of the screen. It shows your current attitude, the opponent's current attitude, and the current mood. This UI shows what you are at right now, which can be different from what the outcome UI shows as your dominant attitude. Okay, the mood is very important. There are 9 different moods, and each mood has a different effect. All of those effects count for all of your crew members. Some are in your favor, while others are terrible. The combination of moods and emotions combined can account for a 200% increase in damage done, or 100% increase in damage received. So, escalated, tyrannizing, and dire all look bad. Okay. So, I don't want to be devious while they're being friendly. I don't want to be aggressive while they're being devious. And I don't want to be friendly while they're being attacky, I guess. Okay. Okay, I think I see. You can see the current effect, okay, of the mood right now. You're tense. If you try being the better man and act friendly, it will have a stronger effect. So, okay. So the friendly abilities have... Oh, okay, and it has a little bar. Thank God. All right. Every mood has a different effect. In general, rock, paper, scissors rule applies. Blah, blah. Beware, though, this also counts against you. If you don't want to be in the escalated mood where you are aggressive and you don't want to be in the escalated move where you are being aggressive and your opponent is being devious. They will get on your crew's nerves until you can't handle it any longer. The last part of moods is blah, 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 blah. The current mood is tense according to the previous rules. You'd be better off if your attitude is friendly against their deviousness. Okay, so rock, paper, scissors it. Yeah! You may have noticed that after you used the ability, an attitude pip is added to the bar. Oh my goodness, there are so many rules. This represents how far an opponent is from viewing you differently. If it's full, your change in current attitude and the mood as well. Certain attitudes like defeating an opponent give extra pips. Others remove attitude pips. Summary of moods. Okay, I think those are the attitude pips. Moods are a combination of you. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. A lot of abilities have an emotion like terrified or excited tagged to them. A character hit by such an ability will, under the right circumstances, gain that emotion. You can see the type and effect of ability. Okay. Inspect your abilities to see their emotions. Marked with an emoticon, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that makes people terrified. That makes people enraged. That makes people impressed. You make people terrified and excited. Sweet. Okay. So let's move you up here. Okay. Some emotions are positive, others are negative. Terrified lowers a character's attack. On the other hand, excited raises one's speech. Many friendly types of abilities have positive emotion you can get. They could also be used to heal crew members. Last thing about emotions is that characters can have weaknesses and resistances to certain abilities. He's resistant to saddened, but extra spirit damage taken from enraged abilities. Okay. I think I get it. Okay, well I have to end the turn. What are you gonna do? Oh no. Unnerving. Okay, it's tense. So I'm going to be friendly. Yeah, that's right. You are very impressed. Yeah, now we're in a persuasive mood. Is there like a thing I can pull up that shows all this whole layout? Okay, plus 25 speech defense. Yeah, we're the better man. Try to excite. That's right. Still worked anyway. Well done. Okay, I think that's enough. I think that's enough. Time for adventure. So, it's time to start adventuring, guys. Time to get into gameplay. I'm going to fade away, then gameplay is going to start, because we're going into Phase 3, gameplay. I hope you guys enjoy Renown Explorers. I think that as soon as I get the hang of this game, it'll be awesome. So, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you on the other side for my conclusions. Have fun with the gameplay! Hey friends, Janky here, and welcome back for Phase 4 of Janky's Lab Conclusions. So, what are my final thoughts on Renown Explorers? Let me share them with you, but first let's pull out that sideboard and put up Experimental Bias, because we gotta talk about that first. So, what are my biases toward this game? Well, let me start off by saying that I only played one expedition. So, I played that one expedition right after the tutorial. Well, I actually played a different expedition because I got through that first expedition, and I died, then I had to start over because it's a rogue light game, and then I completed it. Then I checked out the world map and everything, so... Okay, I guess technically I got through 2 expeditions, but still, gotta put that in there. Secondly, I have to be honest about this. Total Biscuit TV, whom I love and I think is actually really great at reviewing games, and I think he puts a lot of thought and time and effort into his opinions on games. He gave this game a good review. So I'm not even going to lie to you, that's definitely going to color my opinion of this game. Yes. Yes, it will. And then the third thing is that I really like this genre, this sort of strategy, roguelike storytelling sort of thing, you know? I'm not like a huge fan of, say, Darkest Dungeon, just because I'm not a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan, but I like the genre in general. So I really liked this game going into it because I just liked the concept and storytelling behind it. Which leads me right into the pros. That was the sound of me pushing the experimental bias off and bringing the pros on. Okay, here are my pros for the game. So first of all, like I just said, I love the concept. The storytelling, I think, is awesome. It's just like going out into the world and having these wonderful, renowned explorer adventures. This is like the exact sort of story I would make up for myself as a kid. Like stories about going out and having grand adventures with a ragtag team of friends and just having a grand old time. So this story had me right off the bat. I mean, look, I think you guys have probably seen enough of Janky's Lab to know that if you got a good story and like a good concept and art style, you pretty much have me hooked right off the bat, because that's the first thing I fall for is like, do you have a good story, or is your story weird and nonsensical? Or at the very least, you have really cool art and a concept. If you got that, then you have me. But yeah, I definitely love the explorer theme of the game. It just makes me happy and smile and great. The other thing that I really love is the strategy behind the game. And whenever I say strategy, that's a very general term for a lot of different things about this game. First of all, the strategy of crew building to build, at least attempt to build a pretty balanced crew. I thought I had a pretty balanced one. I mean, Harry Walker is kind of a glass cannon, like I've said before. So he died in battle pretty easily, but he also had really great attack and rhetoric, which was super awesome. I love that about him. Anna is a great scientist. She's also really good at terrifying people. Ivan, he tries to be a good speaker. He's really the muscle, but he's pretty good in a pinch when it comes to speaking and being terrifying. So, and that's mostly what I used, actually. I mostly tried to be friendly and devious throughout my adventures. So that, I mean, and that's another thing you have to think about, right? Is like, what strategy do you want to use in battle? Because particularly with the boss fights, it's much easier to just use the rock, paper, scissors method, and whatever beats whatever the boss is about, just like do that and defeat them quickly. However, you tend to get a better results in these fights if you use the thing that's either against what you should be using or the same thing that the boss is using. So for example, in the one fight against a druid, he was being aggressive. If I was to be friendly, that would put me at a disadvantage, but it got me better results for being friendly. So that's what I tried to do, and I ended up getting a really sweet treasure out of it. Or like in the boss fights, so the one boss I fought, his thing was deviousness. So if I was also devious, he would appreciate me, and it would have a good outcome. Or I could be friendly, which is the counter to deviousness, and he would think of me as weak, but I could get through the fight quicker. So I kind of used a combination of friendliness and deviousness, but I made sure to end on deviousness because I knew that would be the most effective thing against this boss. So again, sometimes it's about mixing strategies and finding the right strategy to work. And then of course there are the upgrade trees you have to think about for your crew, and what you want to spend your money and your renown and your scientific study and all that stuff on, the different upgrade trees you can do. I mean, this game has a lot of strategy going into it. There are a lot of moving parts and things, which will actually kind of come up a little bit later in the con, but we'll leave it there for now. And just the last thing I want to say, because I loved so much about this game, I'm just going to kind of use the blanket term and say the experience of the game itself. I really enjoyed playing this game. I thought the developers did a really good job putting it together. I just really enjoyed everything about it, to be honest. Okay, I do have like one con, but for the most part, I just really enjoyed this game. So just generally, there were so many things I liked about this game. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what I liked, so it's just easier to say that I like the experience of the game. So that's something. Okay, so those are my pros, so let's push those out of the way and bring on the cons, because I do have one big con that I do want to bring up, and that's just the UI, the user interface. And that's just because there's a lot of information coming at you in this game, between the enemy's abilities and your crew's abilities, and the different things to collect, like the campaign and the gold and the renown and all of this other stuff. There's a lot going on in this game, which is one of the things I appreciate, but also one of the things that makes this game very hard to look at sometimes. Just trying to figure out like everything that's going on. And it's not like you have a time limit or anything in battle, so you can take as much time as you want, but still, just like trying to get yourself sorted sometimes, and like the rock, paper, scissors, and trying to figure out what the mood of the battle is and all this other stuff. Sometimes it can just be like, it can be difficult to figure out what all is going on. So the one suggestion I might make, if they would take it, I mean, this game has been, like I said, this game has been out for 2 years, but if there was a way to like simplify the UI a little, just sort of like streamline it, like still have everything you need to have, but maybe have like a setting where you can kind of stream it down to something that's just like the necessities, you know? I don't know. But that's sort of the one thing, is that just sometimes visually it can be a little hard to take in everything you're supposed to be taking in. So that's the one thing I would say against this game. That being my one con, let's push that out of the way and bring on that experimental scale. So let's talk experimental scales, yo. Janky's experimental scale. As you know, there are 5 possible rankings: smashing success, promising results, more trials needed, revisions required, and acid kid. Has anything ever gotten an acid kid ranking? No. No, I don't think anything has. I'm not sure anything would, to be honest. I don't know that I would ever play a game and actually like edit it and publish it with an acid kid, unless it was so hilariously terrible that it deserved acid kid, maybe, but not today. Today, based on everything I loved about this game and just that one con about the user interface, I would probably give Renown Explorers a smashing success. I know, I throw those suckers out like candy, but let's be honest, it's not like Janky's Lab is an in-depth review show. This is very much my opinions on games and what I liked and didn't like about them, so this is very pure opinion-based disguised as science, okay? I mean, maybe because I didn't play much of the game, I could call it a promising results, just for the sake of having not played a ton of the game. Maybe later I'll come across something that I'm just like, oh, gosh. So maybe I could call it pride. You know what? Never mind. No. Smashing success. I'm calling this one a smashing success. If you guys disagree, you can leave it in the comments below. Tell me your opinions about the game. But for now, I'm going to call this experiment concluded. So, I hope you guys enjoyed yet another Janky's Lab. If you did, you can leave a like down below. Comments, positive or negative, feel free to leave those below as well. But more than that, I hope you have a lovely day, evening, or whenever you happen to be watching. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, this is Janky Shenanigans, signing out. Hey friends, hope that you liked the video. If you did, you can find more of my content in these links off to the side here. And if you really enjoyed it, you can become part of the year of 1,000 subs here on the channel and use that button down below to subscribe. More than that, I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, this is Janky Shenanigans, signing out.